Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me here on Wednesday, July 24th. All my fellow truth seekers, all my fellow illusion destroyers. Hope you guys enjoyed that video I did last night. It was kind of a long one. I think almost an hour of me discussing various things. But I mean, sometimes you just gotta go that long. They're trying to brainwash us with so much stuff in this world that we got a lot to talk about, don't we? Anyway, this video I don't think will be quite as long, but nevertheless, I'm going to share with you guys what I feel important to know, important to undo the programming from, important to share, and just interesting. So we're going to talk about Q, of course. I think we have about 10 drops to cover. We'll discuss an organization trying to sue QAnon. Yes. I'm not making up that headline. Sue QAnon. We'll touch on that. We'll get into Mueller's hearing this morning. I watched a good portion of it, and I got a lot of thoughts on it. I'm sure you got a lot of thoughts on it, too. A lot of people have a lot of thoughts on it. Just log on Twitter. It's the only thing anybody's talking about today. So we'll chat along that, and we'll chat about a couple other interesting theories. NPR running an interview with Ruth Bader Ginsburg today. A couple ironic things about that I want to share. And also a theory going around 4chan as to who the drone-anon might be. Who the guy taking the drone footage of Epstein's Little St. James Island and uploading it to YouTube, who that might be. Again, just a theory, not confirmed, but maybe. Interesting thread on 4chan we'll take a look at. So, to get started, I just want to share with you guys a few of my social medias, a few things I have coming up. First of all, I'm going to be on, drumroll, the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli. I'll be talking to him tomorrow. No idea when he's going to put up the interview. And frankly, I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. But I'm excited to be on his show. Big fan of it. Big fan of the comedy stuff he does because, let's be real, sometimes these deep, dark subjects we're all learning go down a little bit easier with some humor. So excited to be on Tripoli's show. Also, on that note, I'll be interviewing the parents of the Q baby a little later this evening. That video will come out in just a couple days, but excited to meet them. They seem like really sweet people, so should be a good talk. And then I want to share with you guys my social media accounts too that you can go check out. So first of all, Instagram. Got my personal page. I'm trying to get to 20,000 on there, so help me get a few more followers there on Instagram. I got my personal one. Share a lot of memes, share a lot of stuff on my story, things I have going on, etc. New stuff too. And then I also have my Destroying the Illusion Instagram page. Just started that I think a week or two ago. So links for all this stuff will be below. My Twitter, trying to get to 100,000 on there. That's a feat, but follow me on there, help me out with that. And then Facebooks, got my personal Facebook, my Destroying the Illusion Facebook. So all those will be below too. As much as I don't like the big tech platforms, gotta use them. That's where everybody's at. That's how we're gonna reach the most people, the people who haven't heard these messages before. So I'm still gonna use those. I have a Gab, have a Parler, have a Minds. I have all the alternative accounts just in case, but that's not where I'm primarily at. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is where it's happening, and Patreon. So Patreon, I do exclusive live chats on there. I do giveaways. If you sign up to my Patreon, you get a discount code for anything that I offer on my website, and it's just fun. Have some good times on there, so go check it out on Patreon. I appreciate the support for the independent media. So getting into business now. First of all, General Flynn has a new banner on his Twitter profile. As you can see here, he's got the Betsy Ross flag, American flag now is his Twitter profile. He's changed it many times over the last couple years. It was, you know, a wave, and it was a wave that was getting smaller and smaller, which, you know, was interesting. It's been a few different things. Now he's changing it to the Betsy Ross flag, which is interesting because that was the flag, remember, during the Revolutionary War, if I'm not mistaken, if my government education isn't failing me right here. So, what's that signifying? Are we in the midst of another American Revolution right now? Damn right we are. So, looking good there, sir. Thank you very much, General Flynn, for your service. And I'll link his defense fund down below. I'll be making a donation to that. Speaking of which, later this month. Q, let's get into it. So, first drop here from where I left off last evening, 3468. The DOJ is opening an antitrust probe into big tech, into social media companies. Q giving us a link to a tweet from the Trump Students Organization and a couple pictures from drops that they've given us in the past. Let's take a look at these pictures first, and then we'll look at that link. So the first one is a drop from August 11th, 2018. Shoot, almost a year ago now. Q giving us a meme of the media companies in our country here and in the consolidation of them. This is actually a very good meme. I highly suggest you just keep it in your meme bank for any time you need it. But basically, it's outlining the fact that over the last 50 years, the consolidation of media, there used to be hundreds of different radio, broadcast, TV stations, newspapers. Now, there's like 5, 6 corporations that own 90% of everything. And this just hasn't happened with media. This has happened with academic papers. You have your big 5 academic journals, science journals, medicine journals, you know, your New England Journal of Medicine, Lancet, et cetera, big 5 there. Pretty much consolidation of everything. I mean, they're trying to centralize all the power, all the information, all the money, the assets, resources for themselves, right? Happens with media. That's why you see one narrative get out there. You can just type a current event into Google, and you'll find 40 different outlets that all look like different outlets, but it's like the same headline, same story. It's all recycled shit, right? They're all getting their talking points from whomever and however. Late at night, I'll say the same darn stuff. Operation Mockingbird in action. So fake news consolidation, define antitrust laws, plus Google, plus Facebook, plus Twitter, change we can believe in. So Q was telling us about antitrust lawsuits against big tech nearly a year ago. And now with this tweet here, let's take a look at it. Trump Students Organization breaking. The DOJ has announced they're opening an antitrust probe into social media companies. Huh, that's unfortunate. Wouldn't want to be Jack. Wouldn't want to be Zuck right now. That's very good news. I mean, shoot, how much, let's just say, financial resources do these companies owe us for all the shadow banning, all the demonetization, all the wrongful terminations? Oh, it's gonna end them. It's gonna end them. But hey, I'll be using them till the day runs out, till their time runs out, because gotta reach the peoples. But nevertheless, antitrust lawsuits against all these big tech companies, very good news. I wish they would calm down on that censorship, not just of political folks, you know, tending to be on the conservative end of the spectrum, but natural health information. So much of that gets censored. I've almost had more natural health information censored than I've had political info or talking about false flags or Q or whatever the case. So censorship all across the board, folks, all across the board. Whatever is threatening to the deep state agenda, whether it be health, whether it be talking about the intelligence community, what they really do, the deep state, et cetera, technologies they hide, where the money goes, they don't like it. Next drop, 3469. Q linking Sean Corticon's tweet. Shout out to Corticon. Good work, my friend. Let's take a look at it. His tweet here. This is how Ray Chandler ties directly into child sex slave, human trafficker, nasty bastard Jeffrey Epstein. So in looking at, looks like an excerpt from, I think that font might be a New York Times article. But nevertheless, it says here, Epstein, the MC2 modeling agency founder Jean-Luc Brunel and their associates, quote, deliberately engaged in a pattern of racketeering that involved luring minor children, especially girls under the age of 17. MC2, you see here these photographs from this, quote, modeling agency that Ray Chandler's connected to. Oh, MC squared, I'm assuming. Maybe E, Epstein, MC squared, you know, maybe they're having some sick play on words or joke between them right there. But nevertheless, Ray Chandler, MC2, Epstein connected. Bam. Good work. Good finding that, Corticon. If you found it or whoever tipped you off to it, nevertheless, the information like this is exactly what needs to come out. And that's exactly why Q is here pointing us towards it all. Q saying targets, or the models, the targets for the sick deep state folk, these are their targets, unfortunately, what they call models, made to fill out an extensive background report, i.e. they want to figure these people out when they're hiring. Targets models asked in detail about their family. Targets models generally green-lit based on, quote, loner, quote, insecurity, quote, depressed, psychological P-eval, or psychological evaluation. So they find the people who are broken, who are traumatized, who come from humble or poorer family backgrounds to prevent possible legal retaliation. I mean, sick shit, the victims that they go for. But that's why the hunters are becoming the hunted. Good guys are getting control, and these sick folk are getting exposed. Next tweet, a tweet from Ted Cruz, or next Q drop is a tweet from Ted Cruz here. He tweeted yesterday, he penned a letter to AG William Barr, Deputy Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen, and FBI Director Chris Wray, calling for an investigation into Antifa under the RICO Act, Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act. Ha! That's big news, because that means some big players are involved. Soros. Soros! Sorry, got something in my throat, but Antifa getting investigated, big tech getting investigated. Not a good week for the deep state. Booms all around. Booms all around. Now, next drop. Q linking us a tweet from John Solomon. John Solomon being the Hill contributor who's often on Hannity's show with Sarah Carter, often on Fox News there. One of the ones that Q has mentioned before in their drops, that this guy is a very good person, trying to get the truth out there. Could have even had some protection in the past, but this tweet says here, breaking, Department of Justice, Russia review targeting key figure, conclusion in Mueller report. Joseph Mifsud, who was the professor, quite likely actually a CIA asset as well, to determine if any improper surveillance occurred on George Papadopoulos. Funny that broke last night, and we'll take a look at what happened in the Mueller hearing today, because Mifsud did get brought up. So there's that, and then these last few drops. 2019, year of the boomerang. This is getting into today. This happened this morning. I believe Q dropped this right after the Mueller hearing was done. Year of the boomerang. Boomerang. You throw it out, comes right back around, hits you. It's exactly what's going to happen to the deep state. All the shit that they've dealing for so long, it's going to come right back around and hit them. Thank you for all the super chats, my friend. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely helps with all of the ridiculous demonetization that YouTube's been doing to all of us content creators. But let's get back into these drops. Let's see here. Mueller is a puppet who attempted to regain control of the FBI and protect the deep state, is basically what this drop is informing us of. Q says there are puppets. Let me make this a little bit bigger. It might be easier to see for you guys. There are puppets. There are puppet masters, which is Mueller. Probably a puppet in some way, shape, or form at some time. Attempt to replace James Comey as FBI director failed. Attempt to regain FBI control. This is sort of laying out the idea that the deep state was trying to take back control of the FBI director position through Robert Mueller, could have been their puppet, whether they blackmailed him or something to that effect. Plot and plan, backup to initiate the special counsel to safeguard against criminal prosecution regarding illegal and criminal actions. The special counsel was meant to be a blockade, block any sort of progress that the Trump administration was doing, especially against the deep state. The special counsel equals loss of FBI command, control of safeguard. Department of Justice depends on what agency for investigating criminal actions. That is the FBI. So since the FBI was lost, they installed the special counsel trying to block any sort of progress. Mueller, remember, Q has told us that Mueller will be facing some consequences for Uranium One. Mueller was meant to bury Epstein and cover it up, as CISO did years ago. Mueller plot to remove duly elected President of the United States. Biggest scandal in American history. Treason, 2019, year of the boomerang. So I think Mueller was, blackmailed in the past, forced to do some bad stuff, and now he's possibly being leveraged into setting up this special counsel, purposely making it fail, purposely exposing the talking points, the narratives, the fake news that they're trying to bring towards the president, bring towards, this Russia narrative. So, nevertheless, that's ending. Next drop. Q gives us a tweet saying, who are the real racists? Projection does not work when we the people are awake. This tweet here from Twitter handle QAnon's pastry chef. Irrefutable evidence that Ilhan is a dangerous racist and bigot. And this is a quick excerpt of an interview that she did about 4 years ago, where she basically was talking about white people and how white people are dangerous and how white people are the problems. Sounds like projection to me. And I actually saw this here tweet this morning. Convenient, top of these replies. But I saw this tweet this morning and I posted it here. I saw this 2012 tweet from Omar this morning. Look at these hypocrites. This is an actual tweet. You can find it. Ilhan Omar from 2012. Why don't we deport you to wherever you came from, she says. But apparently it's a problem when the President of the United States talks about deportation, legal deportation of illegal immigrants. But it's cool when Ilhan Omar bashes white people and talks about deporting them. Hypocrites. Hypocrites in action. Raging narcissists. And this next drop, force of nature definition. So this brings us to a tweet from Donald Trump today, just minutes before this. Let's check that timestamp. 1:14 on that. Donald Trump, 12:33. Donald Trump tweets, truth is a force of nature. And then a short time later is when Q posts this definition to a force of nature. Now, this isn't a Q proof because Q didn't post it beforehand, but nevertheless, force of nature. They are trying to tell us that the truth is coming to light, and they're trying to tell the bad guys to just stop lying. They've lied for so long, and they can't do it anymore. They're getting exposed. Next drop here, redrop on the power of free thought Q is giving us, just saying that they try to label you as a conspiracy theorist, call you, mock you, control you, attack you, character assassinate you on the internet, shill you. You know, it's completely an info war. And they've psychologically beat people trying to figure out the truth for so long that that's how they try to maintain the narrative, but it's not working anymore. Free thought, the Great Awakening, it's coming back. People are waking up to everything. Beautiful times we're in. Beautiful times we're in. So happy to have been born to experience this right now and play a part in it. And this last Q drop we have here, Q giving us a Fox News article. This Fox News article, headline here, in resurfaced interview, Ilhan Omar answers questions on jihadist terrorism by saying Americans should be more fearful of the white men. And this is that exact same interview. The Q linked, boom, right here from QAnon pastry chef, with Q saying the power of Anon research. The power of Anon research. One of the things that Q has brought, that Q has assisted in this Great Awakening with, one of the reasons they conducted this operation was to get a grassroots research effort, to get thousands of people posting information on the boards, digging into these various individuals and bringing up the truth, basically. And it actually has repercussions, as we're seeing. Like, it actually does something. The power of Anon research. There was an article ran on Fox News from some video that Anon dug up a long time ago. Like, imagine that. Incredible. And not just how much information is hitting big-time media outlets from Anon research, but how much Anon research is actually going into investigations. Imagine that. Like, shoot, maybe any one of John Huber's team or some intel guys are perusing the boards and just taking whatever open source information that gets posted there and using it in some way, shape, or form. I mean, just incredible. Incredible what they're doing with this whole Q-op. So those are the drops that we're covering here. We're done there. Now let's go into a few other things. Let me move through these tweets, get rid of them. All right, a few more things on Q. Not the drops, but other stories, and then we'll move on. Number one, how about this QAnon supporter actually running for a representative seat, a congressional representative seat in Minnesota? Her name's Danielle Stella, and look at all of this attack that she's getting in the, let's just call it deep state corporate bullshit media over the last day. So, I mean, shoot, look at this. Right Wing Watch, we already know what their lean is. Daily Beast. Chelsea Clinton sits on the board of directors of the company that owns the Daily Beast. We already know what their lean's going to be. And actually, let's guess who wrote these. Right Wing Watch. Let's take a wild guess. I bet it was Jared Holt. And the Daily Beast, I bet that one was Will Sommer. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. Oh, Jared Holt. Oh, it's clockwork. All right, let's take a look at the other one. The Daily Beast. Oh, it was Will Sommer. Oh, man. Ah, they're so creative. They're so ingenious. My Lord. But of course, here they are, same narrative, both articles, etc., etc. They're trying to call Q crazy, white supremacists, racist, violent people, whatever their lean's going to be, you already know, and then try to lump her into that, tear her down, take her down, but it's not going to work. Oh, geez. They don't have much to go on anymore, do they? So they have to run articles like this. Nevertheless, let's see one more organization attacking Q. And this is actually kind of two organizations. Check this out. I kid you not. When I saw this yesterday, my reaction was just one of laughter. I couldn't help it. I saw Jack Posobiec retweet or tweet about the MAGA coalition suing QAnon in multiple jurisdictions. I just can't. Oh my God, MAGA coalition suing QAnon in multiple jurisdictions. Number one, Jack Posobiec, I mean, he's just been trying to undermine Q for nearly a year now. In the most ridiculous ways. The ways that are extremely easy to expose, too. I mean, Microchip. Did Microchip claim that he was behind Q? And then once on Gab, I saw him post that he was claiming I was behind Q and a part of the chat logs that started it. Lies. Lies. I was never a part of any chat logs behind Q. So Jack's source is fake. We know Jack Posobiec is fake news. He's just spread all sorts of BS on Q. I think I saw him on an InfoWars program one time that was entitled The Secret Space Program, and he was just making up some nonsense on it. I mean, he acts like he knows more than he really does. And the MAGA coalition suing QAnon. Let's take a look at that. MAGA coalition president Adam Gingrich announcing pending litigation to be filed in the federal court to discover the identity of the author of the 8chan post written by Q. Do it! I dare you. I dare you to do that. The case involves several posts on the 8chan board where, quote, QAnon anonymously promulgated a libelous attack on the MAGA coalition. Libelous attack on MAGA coalition? I mean, geez, if we're talking about libel and slander and all that stuff, let's look at the MAGA co. I've seen the president of that organization. They've tried to attack me on Twitter all the time, all sorts of slanderous stuff. I mean, they say Q-tards, inferring that people who follow Q are retards. No, that's not libelous. That's not slander, MAGA co. They've promoted the narrative that I sell bleach. I drink bleach. I don't drink bleach. Anybody that calls chlorine dioxide or MMS bleach is just a blithering idiot, has no idea what they're talking about, and instantly exposes themselves. So, projection, right? Projection. It's the people who slander, the people who attack, the people who are fools, are the ones who call others fools, call others slanderers. This is just hilarious. Funny to see. InfoWars, MAGA co. I mean, they're just exposing themselves, truly. And then let's talk a little bit about that Mueller testimony that happened this morning. So I caught a good portion of it. I was watching it for about an hour and a half. And what I noticed is that it went truly like back and forth. It was like night and day between different groups of people talking to Mueller. And by that I mean you had an individual like Gateway Pundit reports on here, Jim Jordan, or another Gateway Pundit article, Matt Gaetz, right? When they questioned Mueller, it was like, okay, as Jim Jordan right here catches Mueller off guard about Papadopoulos and Mifsud, nails Mueller with his own report. Matt Gaetz grills Mueller, who refuses to discuss the junk steel dossier. I don't know how many times Mueller said purview. Like if you're making a drinking game out of it, you'd be just like drunk off your ass. Outside of my purview. Okay. So these guys, I mean, they were just grilling him. They were bringing up the dossier, the fake Russia stuff. It was like, boom, dark to light right there. And as Q has actually said before, note on this, the Freedom Caucus guys. Notice that they're all Freedom Caucus guys. Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, a couple of other folks, part of that Freedom Caucus there, trying to get the truth out today during the hearings, right? That's why Q is shining a light on that Freedom Caucus. A bunch of people who were basically trying to, the Freedom Caucus got, let's take a look at it here. It got created in 2015, basically, with a bunch of like libertarian Republican folks. And basically, I think they were sick of the Republican Party, and these guys were created to, move along with Trump and gain more power in the Republican Party and push out all the freaking weirdos and nonsense in the Republican Party and like purify it, and then try to take down the deep staters in the Democratic Party with it, right? So it was a way that a bunch of patriots kind of took down both parties, right? It's not a duality thing here, Democrat versus Republican, but that's just the game you have to play, right? So that's what the Freedom Caucus is, and it was all these guys who were trying to get the truth out. And then a deep stater came up. You had like Ted Lieu, or you had, God, what's his name, Blumenthal from California, just total douchebag. These guys came up, and night and day. First few seconds they will go, "Oh, Mueller, you're so wonderful. Thank you for serving way back when in the Marines and this and that." And they would like wipe his ass, totally brown nose him for a few seconds, and then go into questioning his report and trying to say Trump obstructed justice. And they just sounded like blithering idiots. Then Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz would come up, and it would be like fire trying to get the truth out. And then a deep stater would come up and, "Oh, Mueller, thank you so much. And how about that Trump obstruction on page 97? Can you read that to me? Can you read that to me? Can you read that to me?" They were absurd. So that's basically how it went down. And I think even some never Trumper folk were saying this day was just awful for Mueller, awful for the Republican narrative that keeps getting circulated out there, and totally was. So I'm enjoying the show. Can't tell if Mueller's wearing a white hat or a black hat or a gray hat, or if he's being leveraged, or who he's being leveraged by, in what way, but there you go. Some people are thinking that Mueller was the stealth bomber, which, interesting theory. Maybe he was leveraged into being one. And just enjoy the show, folks. Enjoy the show. And then a couple more things and we'll finish up. Number one, how about that theory on who the Dronanon is? So, Digital Soldier on Twitter. I'll link this below when I'm done. Digital Soldier on Twitter posted a thread from 4chan. Let's take a look at that thread from 4chan because it's somebody's very intriguing theory. Now, again, I don't know if it's true. Haven't done enough digging to yay it or nay it yet. I've just done some basic kind of digging on it. But nevertheless, this Anon here on 4chan, pilot Rusty Shackelford. Interesting theory. Here's why. This particular Anon was saying, well, if you actually cross-reference here, let me get up the links. If you actually cross-reference John McAfee on his Twitter, he's the, of course, the tech guy, creator of the McAfee, that company. And he has lately been in the Caribbean on a boat. He's been boating around the Caribbean for a couple months now, maybe. But especially the last few weeks, posting pictures. This is from 5 days ago. Out there on a boat in the Caribbean. Now, so he's on a boat in the Caribbean. And we also know that John McAfee has a drone. He's posted photos of his drone and video from his drone on Twitter. So there you go. Testing drone operator right there. Very interesting. So he has a drone. He's floating around on a boat in the Caribbean. And this particular person is trying to timestamp different times where McAfee goes dark on Twitter and then where the Rusty Shackelford YouTube channel started posting their videos from Epstein's Islands. Let's take a look at that really quick. Right here. Rusty Shackelford. Speaking of that Betsy Ross flag, there's that right there. But Rusty Shackelford. Shout out to my King of the Hill fans. Used to watch that show. That was Dale Gribble's pseudonym he would go by, Rusty Shackelford. Cracked me up when I saw that, the name of this. But nevertheless, you can see here, 2 weeks ago is when they first started posting the drone footage of Epstein's Island, whoever Rusty Shackelford is. And they're still doing it, quite a bit of drone footage, couple minutes every few days or whatnot. So, of course, we don't know if this is footage that's taken one time, that's consistently put out, or, when it was all taken, but it's being released the past couple weeks. And again, timestamp that with McAfee out there in the Caribbean with a drone. Who knows? Don't know. You can do your own digging into it. Post this 4chan thread below. You could take a look at the alleged evidence and the other allegations. But that's just the ideas there. And then last thing, the NPR interview with Ruth Bader Ginsburg this morning. Couple of just incredibly ironic things about this and things that are pretty funny. the title of this, Justice Ginsburg, quote, "I am very much alive." Yeah, barely. And it sounds like, I mean, just the fact that they would have to run this article, "I'm very much alive." Yeah, of course, they're trying to cover their ass. It sounds like what somebody who is actually dead might say if they wanted to keep her alive in the minds of the public. Yeah. But get this, okay? The funniest thing about this is not in the article itself or in the interview. It's actually the name of the journalist who conducted the interview. Her name is Nina Totenberg, if I'm getting that right. It's a German last name, okay? Totenberg. If you actually translate that in German, her last name translate meaning dead mountain. Toten means dead in German, and Berg is mountain. I don't care who you are. That's funny right there. Dead mountain. Totenberg. So Nina Dead Mountain conducted an interview of Ruth Bader Ginsburg saying, "I'm very much alive." It's just ironic. Just ironic. You know, I'd venture to guess that maybe Ruth Bader Ginsburg's alive. But nevertheless, that's just funny. Once Ginsburg's out of there, Supreme Court be in much better shape. So that's everything that I have for you guys here. Thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in, hanging out with me for a few minutes here. Remember, take a look at all those social medias I posted earlier, the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook. Go check out my website. Go subscribe to that newsletter there at the bottom. Go check out the apparel. Seen some people getting some Space Force shirts. A lot of stuff, been grabbing some stuff from the site. Just saying, if you grab anything from my site, if you get something, if you get a shirt from the store there and you post it on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook using the hashtag, you can probably use Destroying the Illusion. I'll share it. Big thanks, you know, for everybody who's grabbing some stuff. I just want to see. A lot of people have been grabbing the shirts, and I don't see any pictures of it. So send those pictures my way. Post them. Post what you're getting, and I'll share it. And thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys' support. That's all for this one. Take care, y'all.